we get to bring it all together in this one. Our last week and weeks, we've had our theme and themes. So, those of you who have been tuning in, welcome to the 5D Collective. And those who do self help, mindful, and spiritual living for the 5D Mystics. You don't have to be in that enlightenment soul age group, but you will be aware of when you get there. And what you also are aware of is the inner child adult. So you have a whole self. That's why the self conscious, that's your realization of the expansion of you. So self conscious, not conscientious or whatever that means, the self, since now that we have a lot of good trauma, attachment information, I do your host and the mentor and content creator. Okay, so this is a beautiful heart in infinity and beyond, which is what you are and I, when we are realized as inner child adults. And so that means that you can see and want to be seen. You can soothe and want. Nah, you don't have to want it. Nah, yes, you do. You're a mammal like I am. So you'll want someone that knows how to be your safe haven, but you'll know how to behave like you heard from Twin Flame. We had yesterday one, and then we had another one today. You will be able to know disappointment. It's not really fair for me to be disappointed in a divine masculine, because whether it's a divine or not, it's a human being. The masculines, they have the capacity to make the same choices that the feminines do, and the feminines too. And so it's not a race and not a competition, FYI. As a divine feminine who's a 5D mystic in the enlightenment soul age group, I need to specify these things, not because I want to in the sense of making it into an identity, but because each word means something. So 5D, it's the Christ consciousness, oneness consciousness. And then the self-empowered is because Maria is empowered to be herself. And then enlightened, I'm in the enlightenment soul age group, and I don't learn about the self through other stuff. There's the relationship, there's the spiritual soul age, there's a bunch of soul age groups. So you'll figure out when you're navigating with those people who navigate the other ones. For example, I know when I'm with relationship soul age group people and or the social, they learn about the self through those interactions. Okay, so that's why the word. So I'm self conscious, but not in a way of being embarrassed. I don't have a shame continuum, because even if I am embarrassed, I'll be like, hey, Maria, it's okay to be embarrassed. And I'm trying to accentuate my words well. So this is why the infinity of love and beyond, and why there's no shame button here. There's a Holy Spirit, open heart, Christ consciousness, basically love button, yes, which is why it's pretty unfair to say to any of those who do not choose to become the embodiment. So there's divine masculines and divine feminines that will not know of their divinity, aka their pure state of consciousness, aka inner child adult, aka integrated brain, aka restorative embodiment and restorative embodied, self-aware, accountable, and regulating. That's why you're here. Self-help supports those people, and you're motivated to be open-hearted and forgiving, not a small energy of vengefulness that goes. So if you tune in to today's channeled guidance, you'll hear a little bit about that, but we might talk about it in a minute. So as we bring it all together, what is this beautiful episode concluding with as I begin those first sentences? So bringing it all together, the realization of the expansion of you with self-conscious love and bliss. And so the frequency of realization, we read it yesterday, supports the internal process of becoming aware of our heart-centered truth, as well as the external process of becoming our highest expression in this world. I am sharing and creating a heart-to-heart moment with you, which is very beautiful, because you're not going to turn and leave and not know. You might not come back. So you might decide that I don't have value for you. That's okay. It won't break my heart in the way that you may think. Self-worth is not provided to me by you giving me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. My value is not a number. You see, this is a feminine's world here, divine, and my divine masculine's on board with it. Divine masculine, they find that value is monetary. This is the unfortunate business that I will share. For me, feminine, I say that's unfortunate, because, wow, I mean, yes, sure, give me all the coins in the world. There's a saying, you must love honesty more than money. some of us are not willing to compromise the heart, the soul, the essence of us. And when you hear people say, "Oh, you're stupid, lady," yeah, I'm sure I'm stupid, lady. Again, reconfirming my lovely Christ consciousness, Holy Spirit, which is all about open heartedness and no human suffering, because I use my prefrontal cortex. And as intelligent human beings can inform you, any one of us who is intelligent can use information in however many ways we want because we create and our brains work. So being able to manipulate, we all do it. The intent behind it is important. You cannot prove intent. So my intent is to expand you. And a person who will like to expand themselves will enjoy me. Person who wants to live out their shame armored in circle, yes, and cycle all that karma stuff, they will not necessarily enjoy me. They might enjoy some of me at a certain point. There are some things that they're going to say, "That's a stupid person," or something like that. Actually, it really doesn't come up as words, it's a feeling. And not that they're in love with me. No, that their unfaced fears, the low self-esteem bit, yes, because when a person has low esteem, they don't have self-worth. So my words, if they go in a different direction than they're heard, so see, a low self-esteem person is a non-differentiated self, is a person who's looking to the outside world to be told how to behave, how to do things, which is why when they say this thing, "I forgave," you can tell that they think that they deserve to get stars. So it's not a performance. They're still not an independent 1-year-old, you see? So that's okay. Conscious of self, I am. My 1-year-old is independent, and my faith is a feeling of I know how I got told basics. Be humble, which sometimes will not be something that you will notice, because if you're not empowered, people don't notice the difference between a humble tone versus those who are grandiose. So I won't know in either cases, and you won't either unless you're objective about yourself. But really, no, we can't hear ourselves. I can't hear myself except for when I listen to myself, and then I say, "Wow, I know how that can be read. It's in two different ways." Coffee, an excuse to spend time with you. It's a translation. So I thank you all for using time. Hold on. So realization, this beautiful frequency, you have it and you own it when you are an independent person, and you can love more people, not less. And when you have fun with information, by the way, which I do, I love information. And whether it's pseudo or not pseudo, it's going to be valuable to me, because if I'm tuning into it, it's because I want to. I consciously chose it, and not because I'm afraid of what I'm going to hear or because I'm looking for something. I will begin to be intrigued or not intrigued. That's how all ears work. So this is the part of why when you're doing something with the intent to be supportive, you're not doing it with fear or with "I might not get someone." Okay, you see? So expansion of you is where you feel comfortable being yourself completely. I feel comfortable being Maria. I feel comfortable switching up my tone, getting into the stories, explaining, as well as allowing you to remember academia is in school and this is not academia. And I'm laughing right now because I'm amazed at how many people don't know this. And I don't want to be sounding hilarious, but I will. I will. I have a bachelor's and a master's. And when someone says no more school, I think, oh, that's why we have a lot of people not knowing what social media is. I mean, really, they need to keep going to school, like a lot of them. And there's a lot of them that don't want to. So you're an ally of your left and your right, and you want to be more mental, emotional, and physical intelligent. You don't want to hang out with ignorant people. I can't say that we're going to be around ignorant people, but you have a relationship with your higher self. So when you bring your inner child adult to life and you infinitely expand love from within you, then you will know why restorative, embodied, self-aware, accountable, and regulation skills are so awesome to pursue, which is what we do here. You'll know that, and that will be through spiritual, self-help, or mindful living and loving, the daily practices. And that's because you're already consistently doing it if you're this self-aware. So you'll be intrigued in all IHP content and stories if you're an empowered person, and if you're a divine feminine or a actual divine masculine. And yes, I am biased because the divine masculines, it's only once they're whole that you'll meet the beauty that they can become. But we have just recently been given enough information for where people can go to get good trauma therapy so they can get their self saved and then become their self. And then maybe once they're ready to forgive, accept the Christ consciousness and the 5D and the open heart that I was talking to you about the other episode, and that we're going to keep talking about in another episode. I'm going to keep this one short and to the point. That way, any of you who are particularly new can just sit with it, and if you want, come back. And if you do know of people who do enjoy loving always, not just sometimes, because we love more here, not less. It's because we have self-empowered enlightened people here, and we unconsciously love all 8 billion. So we know of our implicit explicit biases. We don't hide them. We also don't use them as irrefutable facts. We also don't use them in a way of you have to like what I like. No, you don't. I don't have to like what you like either. So I don't like when people will love money more than honesty. So when I meet any of masculines, I have met those who will value mind over heart because they will talk about me as a stupid person, by the way, because I always lead with my feelings. I'm a feminine, and I'm a feminine that comes with Jesus, which is why I'm not ashamed of who I am, not even a little bit. And I'm not ashamed of those who maintain that invisible balance, because there's nothing to be ashamed of people who will, what's it called? Well, disregard valuable information and create groups. And as they have their own group, we have the human beings who tap into their infinite higher human conscious potential experience. So we're going to have a lot of fun here at IHP as we embrace more forgiveness, more love, and talk about very important topics, which is we don't demonize or romanticize those who are on a healing journey. They can heal their trauma, and that's why it's not going to be talked about as hard, not hard. Emotions here are easy, and if they're not, you're here because you want to make thoughts and emotions easy. That's what it is to be a mindfully living person. So I don't pretend mindfulness. I didn't even know about the depth of the word until I began my different attachment trauma courses and then my mindfulness teacher course and more. So as a holistic practitioner, I keep on learning more, and content creator, which is where mindful to me started as a 16-year-old saying, I'm going to keep my heart open. No, I was about 14 or something. I forget, but I consistently chose it. Why would I cut myself off of being my higher self? I know what it means to be Maria, and I know what it means to be the version of me that I want to be. It's an open-hearted, kind, compassionate person. Well, I mean, some won't say kind, but that's where we are different. So I know what teenagers showed me. They don't like confidence. I wasn't about to cower down in shame and be afraid of inadequacy. The only person who could come to me and say anything, and he hasn't ever come to me to make me feel inadequate. No, he's come to me to say, are you done making a big deal out of nothing, Maria? I laughed, and I am talking about Jesus. I'll never forget that moment. And I was like, okay, fine, fine. Let me get back up. Hold on. Get me a sip of coffee. It's nice to be yourself. And when people are happy to be their self, they're going to want to be around you. When we're with the ones who are not happy to be their self, well, we can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you get what you make out of all of that, which is a herd. Ice Age. Remember Diego, Manny, Sid? Yeah. So some of us were potshas. We're like, okay, we are 8 billion. Let's smile and remember you don't know everything, so be humble. And we always contribute. So every human being deserves to be peaceful while alive, not just rest in peace. Let us make it happen. This is exactly what I'm trying to get to. Safe haven, secure base, self-empowered enlightened, 5D mystics or 5D inner child adults, and I'm both. They have this self-regulation skill. And so when people are around you, they can learn how to watch what healthy self-worth looks like, and therefore to not be a person who wants to be seen by unhealthy self-worth people, which is where every person is going to, without even knowing it, continue to grieve not being seen by their parent and get into unhealthy relationships. So you can only stand as an example, and the ones who want to become their whole self, again, they will. So we walk with all, like Jesus taught me, and God taught me. You're all my brothers and sisters. So welcome aboard. Oh, we don't need to keep blaming Lucifer or fallen angels or demons for the unresolved trauma and any demonic possession. There's no demonic possession. See, the sciences people, they have the data. They have proof, like, and they're building more of it. So while I am of faith, and my faith does inform you, we're all brothers and sisters. So again, it confirms that which I was taught. The only ones who haven't caught up with the times are the ones who don't like that the scientists show that a person with disorganized attachment and dissociative identity disorder can be healed. They're not broken. Their embodied brain protected them, and there's states of selves that are alters, and they're healable with the right therapist, EMDR, child parts work, somatic, sensory motor, and a lot of patience, and the will to heal from the person who has the DID stuff, which there are, like with narcissism, there are borderline personality, there are. So all people who are in the group of needing mental health and mental support, they are given the opportunity. So human suffering, we won't be carrying that on. But remember, we do have a group that carries on with human suffering love narratives. They sound like this. You have laundry in your body. So there's no way that there's an enlightenment person ever. And they don't know about neuroscientists who have said that, it's not supernatural or supernatural to be enlightened. It's, you can. Your body and your brain, it optimizes to that. In fact, Sadhguru really, he could do a lot more if he learned about the neurobiologists and neuroscientists, because when he says this, the neurobiologists and just biologists and neuroscientists and all the mental health professionals that I've learned from, our body and our embodied brain is what it is, continues to get you back home to the homeostasis of restorative embodiment. So if you resist it, means you resist love, which is why the divine feminine of any true divine feminine is always going to be right when it comes to matters of the heart, because she will see the obtusity of the mind that is basically turning their face from love to unfaced fears and calling the unfaced fears them being somebody who's going after the real stuff. And you're like, no, not really, but I'm going to watch as you run off. No, I'm not. I'm going to just go away. Creatures became beings with dynamic elevation of life. Beings can become caricatures when you let life stagnate. Sadhguru, when we see distorted any feminines and then divine masculines who don't embody their divinity, yes, they become caricatures. That's why we say, fun on Pinocchio's Island. I'm out. I'm so happy. I don't even have to do any of what I'm saying to you. The thing is, when you don't want to be yourself, you're not going to be around people who are self-empowered. Yeah, so the true badasses, we're not badasses in the way of the caricatures of movies. No, we love more, not less. We don't look at suffering as something that is necessary at all. And trauma therapists, again, it's a choice to heal. Some people say, I find it hard to believe that the first 2 years of life, stop talking to me about all this stuff. You're boring me. Others instead, they do this. So you did notice my pattern. Now that one, I want to hear more about structural dissociation, which is what the smart men do. And yes, I don't like gender stereotypes, but there's smart men and there's smart women. And when you tell them about implicit memory and the pattern and you say, you deserve to be loved. You do realize this, right? Women and men. Yes, Maria, tell me more. Tell me more. Than no fighting. No, let me tell you more. So did you notice? 1, 2, great. Now that you're on number 5, is it? Okay, good. So you have a couple of more options. It's called therapists, like Terry Real, or please be aware your gut doesn't work really well. And as long as you disregard a lot of things, I mean, I can only support you, but you need to get on a journey. So people that don't want to get on a journey, they might get it, they might not, you might get, there was a song that was going to come through. But anyways, I'm going to be back with a little bit more for you all. Again, thank you for stopping by. See you again shortly.